Yes, hello there. Um, got just two to show, but they're both very, very different from each other, even though they're the same. It's the same album in essence, though this is, I must say straight out, that this is my favourite Jeff Beck Group album. I like all these albums in the 60s and 70s pretty much. I think the last one I bought, feels like it was just a couple of years ago. It was actually 20 years ago. Oh my God. And it was pretty good, actually. But this is a promo. No, sorry. This is an official. Oh, that doesn't help either. I think it's Australian. I've had it for a hell of a long time. This is probably the one I bought. Jeff Beck survived the purge of the 90s, mostly, yeah. This would be my original, because the other ones, yeah. So it's got to be Australian, just doesn't say. But slide one got the feeling, situation, and then short business and Max's tune. Now, this is a album I picked up at Glen A. Baker's Time Warp back in the 90s. He still stocked a lot of second-hand vinyl at that time, in amongst all the way overpriced CDs, hideously expensive. He did have quite a well-stocked second-hand vinyl section, so I always checked it out. I picked this one up there. I'm very happy to. It's a demo. CBS Embassy. Reasonably hefty vinyl too. This one sounds really good from memory. I think it's Dutch. I'll find out in a minute. So, property of CBS, demonstration only, not for sale. Oh, corner there. The pictures are quite different. The Australian one's better, I think. This is the rear cover. I was a black and white printer for decades, and so I'm a bit of an expert on black and white printing. This is the demonstration one. I don't think it's as good. It's too grey. It's not as punchy as those. These have got the more contrast. That looks like Ilford paper. That looks like Agfa or Kodak. Side one of the official release is Got the Feeling, Situation, and Short Business, and Max's Tune. Now on this demonstration one, it's got the Feeling, Situation, and Max's Tune. So there's 4 tracks on side one of the Australian release, and there's 3 tracks on side one of the demonstration. Side 2 of the official releases I've been used. Side 2 of the demos I've been used. New Ways, stroke Train, both the same. Short Business on the demo, and just Jody on the official. So So Short Business. This is tedious, isn't it? Sorry. I don't expect anyone to watch this. Short Business on the demo ended up being on side one. So they've simply moved one track. Oh, I sort of get off on this shit, you know. And that's the front cover. I think I prefer the official release. I like the lettering here. I like that style of lettering. It's classy. That's pretty. It's all right. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just a bit boring in comparison. So I've got two copies of this is my favourite Jeff Beck Group album. The songs aren't particularly great, but he never did have good vocalists in his band apart from Rod Stewart and is it Bobby Tench on vocals? He gets the job done. Bob Tench, he gets the job done. He was in numerous bands, you know. Clive Charman up here on bass was on this and the follow-up, just called the Jeff Beck Group. Max Middleton down here, he was in heaps of groups after this as well. And to cut to the chase, well, chase is probably an appropriate word. I just thought I'd point out that two of these guys were both car nuts. So I'll show the Australian one because it's easier to see. Jeff Beck fractured his skull in one of his hot rod cars just after he made Beckola, I think. Yeah, after Beckola and before these. I think he was out of action for a long time actually. He almost died. I remember we were all freaked out, But he's been a hot rod car and a guitar nut all his life. He survived, but Cozy Powell, the drummer, looking very simian there. I always thought Jeff Beck looked like a simian or a Neanderthal, but Cozy Powell beats him. Real name Snooks or something. He was adopted as a kid. After this Jeff Beck liaison, these two albums, he went on to zillions of bands, famous ones, big ones, huge ones. And but he died in 1998, and the last words he said are recorded. He said, "Oh shit," because he'd been in a severe motorcycle accident a couple of years earlier, and he was suffering, going through a lot of painful operations and things. Still playing in bands, big name bands, things like Toto or something. Those sorts of big name bands. But I just think he fits in this group so beautifully. They all fit so well together. The songs aren't particularly memorable, but just the playing is just so good on this. And Jeff Beck, some of his best soloing and stuff is on this album. It really kicks ass. It jumps along. The follow-up, the Jeff Beck Group, is the same lineup, but there's a bit more. It's heading a bit more towards the blow by blow style. Getting a bit more. Not toned down. Yeah, it's sort of toned down a bit, even though it's got heaps of rockin' tracks on it. But this one's this is pretty soulful, sort of jazzy in a way. It's just a nice blend of heaviness and everything. So this is my favourite. I am waffling. Spring Fever. Oh shit. Because he is on his way to see his girlfriend, who was actually married, and he was going over there because the husband was beating her up or something, and he jumped in the car way over the limit, with alcohol. And when they found the car, the speedometer was stuck on 104 miles per hour, which is pretty quick. And he was talking on the phone when they think he had a slow leak in one of his rear tyres, and it just blew out. And at 104, I've lost a retread tyre doing 70 miles an hour, and that caused two other cars to go spiraling off the highway, and one went tumbling down a ravine or something. It was awful. You just have no control. When a tyre blows, you're screwed, really. Anyway, so yeah, poor old Cozy Powell, great drummer, fantastic drummer, 1998, and he went through the windscreen, and oh shit, and that was it. So 10 minutes 36, waffling, talking about a lot of nonsense, I suppose, but that's just just of interest to somebody, maybe. Yeah, so I can recommend that album to anyone. Really recommend it. And oh, that's right. This Jeff Beck Group 1 demo is actually a Dutch copy, and I have found Dutch pressings from the 70s to be particularly good. A lot of people go on about Dark Side of the Moon having really bad copies and things, and I have a Dutch pressing from that time, when it came out, 73, and it sounds absolutely terrific. I played it through my headphones a few months ago, and it's not Dark Side of the Moon. It's not something I play often because you heard it too many times. But I hadn't heard it in a long, long, long time, and I put it on and went, "Oh wow, it's a good pressing as a Dutch pressing." So anyway, hope all is well with everyone. Bye for now.